Zoom effects or transitions, whatever you want to call them, are easily one of my favorite transitions to do inside of After Effects, as you can kind of tell from the channel. So I figured I'd put you guys onto the source. Don't say I don't look after you. So with this new method, step by step, we're going to be making this effect behind me, and then also you can apply that to practically zoom through anything inside of After Effects. Enough of the talk though, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. First thing you need to do is rotate out any of your clips, in my case, this one here, and the window of the Maybach as well. So let's do the visor first. Go into the rotor brush option, double click, and let's get into it. Bear in mind, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you're getting the edges, remember, it doesn't have to be completely perfect because we'll be using the feather option to make it a lot smoother on the edges as well. As long as you get that rough kind of shape we're looking for, then you're good. So nearly done. I should be okay with that. Let me just fast forward a little bit and double check. I see that little bit there. I'm going to quickly fix that. All right, anything else after that though? I don't. But overall, just playing through it all, I'm more than happy with that. That does the job. But before, keyword, before you freeze anything, press Ctrl D to duplicate it, and then press invert on the top layer. Then go ahead and freeze both of them by double clicking on each one until they're both done. And that's it. Wait for it to finish and we'll move on to the next one. This one hopefully will be okay. It's a bit tricky with the little zoom that's in there, but I think the rotor brush will be okay with it. Normally it's all right. So I'm just going to quickly go over all of this here. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now I just need to go through and play it and just make sure it actually... Damn, that's pretty good. I told you, man. Rotor brush managed to pick it up even with the zoom pretty accurately. Couldn't ask for any better than that. Same process though, don't freeze it just yet. Ctrl D, invert the top layer, then double click and freeze it. Once that's done, double click on the top layer and freeze that as well. And we're ready to go after it's done. So for me personally, I like to label everything just so I can kind of see what's what. So the bottom layers on each of these clips is the inner layer. So I'm going to go onto each clip and rename them to inner. We're going to have quite a few different layers, so I highly recommend you do. But anyways, moving on to it now, you can see it's all looking pretty normal. But now if I disable these two bottom layers, we now have gaps all ready to be closed pretty much. First thing I'm going to do though is go onto these rotor brush layers and put the feather up to like maybe a solid 25. And I'm going to make sure to do it for both as well. But just by looking at mine though, 25 seems to be working completely fine. So now all our clips are rotoscoped and ready to go. Now it's onto the zoom effect itself. So to make the effect, we're going to be using the ZoomWorks Masterclass bundle. I have it linked down in the description below. Use the code 5ZOOM to get $5 off. So when it comes to any sort of zoom effects, ZoomWorks is a no-brainer. There's so many different uses for it and a bunch of different features. But the main feature we're going to be using today is the actual script that comes with the bundle. It's got a bunch of different shortcuts and then presets as well. It just makes any sort of zoom transitions, no matter what you're zooming through, just so easy to do. So the first thing we're going to do is press the camera rig button over here, and you can see everything has already been rigged up for us in one click. First thing I'm going to do is move our visor clip over the top of our previous one so we can start the zoom off. First thing you need to do is hover over your null and then press the drag out option. This will apply a preset ready-made with all the keyframes done. So thanks to the script, majority of the animation stuff is already done. All we need to do is just relayer the values of our clips, right? So I'm going to press P on both of these inner and outer layers of the one we're zooming into and set the Z value to, let's say, I don't know, minus 2500. Then the next step, I'm also going to highlight both, press S and bring the scale down to, I don't know, maybe about that much. And you can see the animation is pretty much already done. There's just a few things we need to do cleanup wise though. So first off, I'm going to go onto the bottom layer. You can see you've got some black lines out there. Now there's a few things you could do. You could add a little bit of scale to move them out, but also you don't want to leave it to chance. So go onto the script once again, press the motion tile, and then up the output width and height above 200. Then you're okay. And you can see all of the edges have been covered, and once we do the last transition with the actual visor of the helmet, you won't even see these little mirror edges here. It'll be all right. So first thing you need to do, yeah, before anything, is just double check your sizing is okay. So I'm just gonna readjust the scale one more time. until everything's in frame, and it's zooming through roughly the center as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. I added a little bit more time into the intro just by dragging everything to the right, so it just becomes a little bit more smoother. But you can see transition's done. We just need to do the last little visor shutdown effect, which is pretty simple. All you got to do is re-enable it, and what I want you to do is press P and keyframe the position where your bottom clip ends. This is important, don't skip it. So then you can add in a position keyframe on the bottom inner layer, then zoom in slightly and just drag it upwards or whatever direction you want it to go in. And you can see everything works completely fine no matter where you drag it. So you can have it coming in from the right, from the left, down, up, whatever you feel is best for you. But in my case, I'm using up just because visor helmets do shot that way. Then highlight both these keyframes and press F9 to easy use. So to me, that looks sick. And if we really think about it, without the rotoscoping, that didn't take us that long. So on to the next one. You can see we've got a bit more of a difficult clip to work with, but we still make it work regardless. It's not that hard, trust me. On to the next one. First thing I'm going to do is bring this in just a little bit more, so we've got a little bit more time. Then I'm going to show you guys a little trick. You know where we did the position keyframe for the visor itself? Once it goes to the completed version, highlight both the inner and outer layer, press Ctrl+Shift+D, delete the bottom one, and on the top one, delete the rotor brush. Then it transitions from the masked versions right back to the original once again, which makes it a lot more smoother and no like rough edges with the rotor brush and the feathering. Then one thing you're going to do is press Ctrl+D on this layer once again, right click it, go on to time and then freeze frame. And what this does, yeah, it kind of acts as filler. It's not there for no reason. I'll show you that in a second. So let me just cut this down. So now we've got the frozen layer at the bottom and we're ready to go. So I'm going to go onto my top layers for this new one we're transitioning into and put the Z value, let's say -4500. Okay. Then I'm going to go slightly forward to roughly about here, let's say. Go onto the null layer and set this value to -5000. And you can see we're already zooming out. We're nearly there, guys. Trust me, we're nearly there. Now you can see it's looking a bit wacko right now, which is completely normal. Don't stress it. Just go a bit forward up to about here. Drag it into the middle and then scale it down to your liking of how you want the clip to end. In my case, if I leave it like this, I'm okay with that. Now we're nearly there, but you can see there's one issue. It's not exactly zooming through the center, which is what we want. So I'm going to actually drag this down so we're in the middle like this. So roughly about there's okay, to be honest, but you can see now this is messed up, which is pretty normal. So all you need to do is go back onto the null and drag it up until you're now in the middle, and you can see we've now got a zoom transition done. Remember what we said to do before though? Add a motion tile and make sure it's above 200. I'm gonna do that for the frozen layer as well, to be fair. So after a few more adjustments, this is where we are. There's only one more thing left to do though, which is the final animation here, because as you can see, it doesn't exactly look right with the frozen layer in the back, does it? No. But you're probably wondering, why have I made this one so much shorter and faster than the other one? Well, to explain why, let's go into this clip itself. You can see it's already got a zoom inside of it. So I just finished the transition roughly about here to make it look a bit more realistic. You see, the opportunities are endless. You can do a opacity transition if you want to, but I'm going to use, again, position. So I'm going to roughly keyframe position here, go a little bit more forward and drag it down until it's out of sight. Now you can see we've got a nice sliding out animation. Looks really hectic and really cool if you ask me, but I'm also going to finish it off a bit earlier. Make sure I highlight both and press F9 to make it smooth. And then after that final transition, this is what we're looking like. Today we covered the bare basics of how to zoom through anything. For the next ones, I've got some really cool and complex ones I'm going to show you guys the secret sauce for going forward.
Make sure you're subscribing, man. Putting all these tutorials out. I want to see some subscriptions so I can keep looking after y'all.
Now, alright, see you lot later, yeah?